Hey booktubers, Lisa here. Today we're going to be talking about this book, The Book of Dust, Volume 1, La Belle Sauvage by Philip Pullman. Shall we make a start? You may know Philip Pullman by his other very well-known original trilogy, which would be His Dark Materials. Those books would consist of The Golden Compass, in some markets known as Northern Lights, The Subtle Knife, as well as The Amber Spyglass. This trilogy was recently made into a HBO miniseries. There was also a movie by Nicole Kidman. Now, this book is a new trilogy by Philip Pullman. This is the first book. And he said that this book is not a sequel nor prequel, but an equal with His Dark Materials Trilogy, which I loved, by the way. So the first question, can you read this book without reading His Dark Materials Trilogy? This book is fantastic and amazing in its own right. And yes, you could read this book and understand what's going on without reading His Dark Materials Trilogy. However, because I read His Dark Materials Trilogy, I really had a really good understanding of the characters and why they were so important. So it really amplified my feelings as a reader, because if that character was in danger, I really felt attached to that character because, oh, this character has to go on to do great things. I was much more invested because I did have that background and history on the characters. So one of the things that I really like about the author, not just his writing style, he really seems to use his fame for good. He leverages his platform for the greater good. And recently he's been talking about, Philip Pullman has talked in the press about mental health as well as feelings of imposter syndrome. So those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is, it's kind of feelings of inadequacy. When people say, oh, you're a great researcher, a great author, and you start to doubt yourself, are you really as good as they say you are? And Philip Pullman was writing, can I really write? Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, it's a resounding yes. Philip Pullman, in my opinion, his work is actually a cut above the rest, and I am so impressed with him and his writing style and how brave he is. And I'll give you a couple of examples. If you have a fan favorite book and you, like, let's say Harry Potter, you write a bunch of books about Harry Potter, right? There's 7 volumes of Harry Potter. It is, and we see this all the time with authors. They have a fan favorite and they will not give up on this because they know if they make a book, and even if it's trash, so long as that character's in it, they're gonna sell lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of books. We see this with Boxcar Children. We see this with Babysitter's Club. There's like 100 books, you know, with the same set of characters because these are the characters we know and love. These are their money makers. You don't even really have to do anything. You don't have to prove yourself. Just make any book that has a few of these characters in it and it's gold. We see this with the Star Wars movies, right? So long as it's a Star Wars, no matter how terrible it is, people are gonna go and they're gonna see it, no matter what. But Philip Pullman, he doesn't play it safe. He doesn't just say, oh, well, Lyra was in His Dark Materials, so Lyra's gonna be the main primary character of this book. She's not. This book is set 10 years before His Dark Materials Trilogy, so Lyra's just a baby. She can't do, you know, extraordinary, exciting things. The main character is Malcolm. Now, some readers have said the pacing is a little bit off, but you really have to look at it from a reader and how you pull a story together, because Philip Pullman's not playing it safe. You can't just write a book and on the first page say, you shall care about this character. You will feel invested in this character. You're not. You know, if this character's in danger, why do you care because you read, you know, a paragraph and a half about that character? No. You have to build up trust with your character, with your audience, and you need to build this character up. So with that being said, it wasn't completely boring at the beginning, but there's definitely a ramp up period. And then when you really care about that character, you know, when the action starts, you're really invested. And this book was such a page turner. I caught myself at 3:30 in the morning reading this book. It was incredible. I loved it. There was so much action. There are a couple things that I will point out. This is just like I thought it was interesting. I bought this book on Amazon, and then I also bought the audio book from Audible, and I was listening to it, and I was noticing as I was following along in my book, hey, some of these words are not the same. What's going on? Is this like a secret edition? What's the deal? This book I think is the US version, and then the audio book was the UK version, which I will point out there's a few more naughty words in the UK version, but there wasn't like a secret UK chapter or a secret US chapter. For the most part, both of the versions were the same, but I thought it was a little bit interesting that they were different. One of the things, the narrator did a really, really great job. I think it was Michael Sheen. He did a fantastic job. My son's been begging me to let him read His Dark Materials and the Book of Dust, and he you know, snuck in, and he was sitting on the couch and he was listening to the audiobook, and he was sitting on the very edge of the bed just listening to every single word, you know, like Daisy Buchanan and The Great Gatsby. He was just mesmerized and transfixed, and he said, oh, please let me listen. And he does such a great job, and he did a good job, but I really wanted Philip Pullman to read this book. In reality, Lyra and Malcolm are his demons. These characters came out of his heart and his soul. I've heard him read. He reads with such passion, and it's really beautiful to hear him read. And it's not a knock against the person who did read the book. He did a fantastic job. You know, he was a great, you know, second to Philip Pullman, but Philip Pullman really should have done the narration for the audiobook. The second thing, I found out that a lot of these like places are in Oxford, and you can actually go on a tour. So I love London. So the next time that I go to London, which will be as soon as like it's safe to travel, I am 100% going to go to Oxford. There's even a tour. I looked up, there's a tour that has apparently been blessed by Philip Pullman. So I will actually see the places mentioned in this book. So I am thrilled, beyond thrilled to do that. So if you haven't already, if you haven't already figured out this book, it's an easy 5 stars. I give this 2 thumbs up. It was fantastic. I highly encourage you to check out His Dark Materials Trilogy as well as the Book of Dust. There is a volume 2 that I will be reading shortly. It's something about the secret Commonwealth. There is also a 3rd book, which has not yet been written. I heard rumors that it has something to do with roses are supposed to be in the title. And very recently, this week, breaking news, if you're a big fan of His Dark Materials Trilogy, Lyra and gang, there is a new short story. It's called Serpentine. I literally was on the pre-order list, and I just got it this week, so you can also pick that up. If you enjoy brutally honest book reviews, please subscribe to my channel. I'm Lisa of Troy. Peace.